My name is Natalie Brooks and I'm 29 years old. Growing up, I learned that love in our house always belonged to someone else. My younger sister Sienna was our parents' favourite, while I existed quietly in the background. I accepted that painful truth for years, but nothing prepared me for what happened after I became pregnant. I discovered the news inside a gas station restroom, staring at two pink lines with trembling hands. My husband, Ethan Carter, an electrician with endless patience and a gentle heart, cried the moment I told him. We had spent nearly 2 years hoping for this miracle. That night we dreamed about baby names, painted imaginary nurseries, and believed our happiest chapter had finally arrived. The following Sunday, I visited my parents carrying a tiny gift bag with a baby onesie that read, Grandma's favourite. I expected surprise, maybe even joy. Instead, I found silence. Sienna lounged on the couch scrolling through her phone. My father watched golf from his recliner while my mother worked in the kitchen. Everything looked ordinary until I smiled and announced, I'm pregnant. The baby's due in April. No one congratulated me. My father muted the television. My mother's expression hardened. Did Sienna know you were planning this? She asked. I laughed, assuming she was joking. She wasn't. Sienna slowly lowered her phone and said, I was supposed to have the first grandchild. I blinked in disbelief. She wasn't even dating anyone. I calmly explained that my pregnancy wasn't a competition. Without warning, my mother shot out of her chair, crossed the room, and slapped my stomach with terrifying force. The first grandchild belongs to your sister, she screamed. Get rid of that baby. I doubled over, clutching my belly while my father remained seated, saying absolutely nothing. Instinct took over before my mind could catch up. I grabbed my purse, rushed out the front door, and drove home with blurred vision and shaking hands. Every mile replayed the sound of my mother's strike against my stomach. By the time I reached the house, I was barely holding myself together. Ethan found me curled up on the bathroom floor, still wearing my coat. Between sobs, I told him everything. His face shifted from confusion to disbelief, then settled into a quiet anger I had never seen before. He wrapped his arms around me and whispered, No one will ever lay a hand on you or our baby again. 3 days passed without a single call from my parents. No apology, no concern, only silence, as though I had committed the unforgivable crime of becoming a mother first. On Thursday evening, while Ethan and I quietly ate dinner, the doorbell rang. He answered it, then froze. Natalie? He called softly. You need to see this. Standing on our porch was my grandmother, Margaret Hayes, whom I hadn't seen in nearly 15 years. My mother's own mother leaned on a cane, carrying a thick folder beneath her arm. She studied my tear-stained face before stepping inside. I heard what happened, she said gently. Sienna called me in tears. She was horrified after your mother hit you. The revelation stunned me. Later that night, Sienna phoned, crying uncontrollably. She admitted our mother had spent years convincing her that producing the first grandchild was her responsibility, almost a family duty. She had repeated those words without questioning them. The moment our mother attacked me, that illusion shattered. Grandmother opened her folder, revealing documents for a trust she had quietly built for her first great-grandchild, no matter which granddaughter had the baby. Then she looked directly at me. Will you stand beside me? She asked, and finally confront 2 days later. Ethan and I stood on my parents' porch beside Grandma Margaret. Sienna had already arrived to warn them we were coming. When my mother opened the door and saw her estranged mother standing there, every trace of colour vanished from her face. She gripped the doorframe as though her legs might give way. Grandma stepped inside without raising her voice. She calmly described everything she had learned, then placed the trust documents on the coffee table. She explained that the money had always been intended for her first great-grandchild, regardless of which granddaughter became a mother first. My father sat silently in his recliner, just as he had the day my mother attacked me. My mother tried to defend herself, insisting she only wanted to protect Sienna's feelings. Grandma interrupted with one question. Was protecting her feelings worth striking your pregnant daughter? The room fell silent. I didn't shout. I didn't cry. Looking directly at my mother, I said, The rivalry between your daughters existed only because you created it. My child will never grow up believing love has to be earned or competed for. With that, Ethan and I walked away. Months later, we welcomed a beautiful baby girl named Lily. She arrived, healthy, strong, and surrounded by genuine love. One of the first people to hold her was Sienna. Tears streamed down her face as she apologised for repeating beliefs that had been planted in her since childhood. My mother has cautiously tried rebuilding our relationship, but forgiveness takes time and trust even longer. Grandma Margaret visits every week. Lily smiles the moment she hears her voice, filling our home with laughter instead of fear. For the first time in my life, I finally understand what family is supposed to feel like, and my daughter never has to question whether she is loved. If you'd like, I can also create 5 cinematic AI image prompts for the key scenes in this story.